The Astero is perhaps the only frigate that I have been actively flying over the last 1 or 2 years. I got this ship from a contract for 3.5 billion. At the time, that was a really good deal, especially for a new ship. And the ship did come with integrations, so it was really a very nice deal. And this is the boat that did fund most of my ships that I fly nowadays. It also is the boat that I used to fund some of the older ships that I used to fly. Overall, this Astero was highly successful in its life. Now let's quickly take a look at the ship info, the description. The raw bonus will give you a core tops clocking device, minus 100% clocking device lock delay, minus 50% clocking device reactivation delay, plus 25-second analyzer success rate, and plus 1 analyzer strength. Overall pretty solid stats. Advanced frigate defense upgrade bonus will give you plus 5% cargo hold capacity, plus 5% scan resolution, minus 7.5% resonance simulation minimum scan radius, and minus 7.5% narrow simulation scan radius. Advanced frigate command bonus will give you plus 40% drone damage, plus 35% drone effective hit points, and plus 4% armor resistance per skill level, which is, pretty solid. 3 drones, 2 high slots, 3 medium slots, 3 low slots, 3 combat, and 3 engineering rigs. A decent defense. The Astero is a armor tank, don't shield tank any Sister of Eve ship, it's not the way to go. Solid capacitors, 647 gigajoules, 240 seconds is the recharge time, 6.74 gigajoule per second is the recharge rate, it can lock 5 targets, 30.6 meters is the signature radius, a very good scan resolution, and the center strength is 14.4. The Astero is not the fastest faction frigate, it is very similar to the Stratios, it's one of the slowest frigates, but it's still quite speedy. Now on to the build. So my Astero has 2 main purposes. It's being used to scan down targets in low sec that I later tackle with my battleships or cruisers. It can also be used, and I do use it for exploration quite often, but I don't usually use the Astero in direct PvP. It's usually a combat scanner, which means it's used to find targets without alerting them, and then it's being used to give a warp in. After the warp in has been established, I go swap the ship to a DPS ship, and then I go back to the mission to engage the target. Here you can take a look at the rigs. Now I haven't changed the combat rigs. This is how I bought the ship from a contract. It was a very good deal, and these rigs are, to be honest, quite expensive, so I just keep them. However, the engineering rigs have been changed multiple times, and now this is the current combination that I use. Basically, maximum scan capacity, and I have increased the power grid, although the power grid is not really important on this ship unless you want to use the medium missiles. If you want to use the medium missiles, you need to have that one power grid installed, or you have to have really good skills. For frigates, of course. And speaking of missiles, I have usually the normal small missiles or torpedo launchers, but you can go and use the medium missiles on the Astero. It's a very interesting choice. As for the armor repair, you can use a medium armor repair. The Astero does have a decent capacitor for that, and it does repair a lot, so if you can fit a medium repair, you can. It's going to repair the ship a lot, and back when I used the Astero for PvP, I did use the medium armor repairer. And for the explorer build, let me quickly add the exploration modules, the analyzers, and the scanner. Now the Astero is, I would say, the best ship for exploration. It's a boat that is basically designed for the job. It's very small, it's quite speedy, it has a lot of capacitor, and it has a very nice bonus on the analyzers, so opening the boxes is not going to be a problem. Even as a alpha clone, you can easily use the Stratios with the cheaper modules. You have that bonus on the analyzers, and that bonus on the analyzers can actually help you at at not having to waste ISK on the expensive ones, because these analyzers are really expensive. However, they do return the ISK very quickly, and exploration is one of the, I would say, more relaxing things that you can do in this game. I really enjoy it. It's when I want to relax and just chill, I just go and explore. So far I made over 60 billion with the Astero alone, and those 60 billion ISK have basically been the basis on which I built all the other ships that I have. Exploration nowadays became a little bit more competitive. There is a lot of explorers out there, as you will see in this video. Although, if you know when to scan and where, it's very easy to make a lot of ISK. And honestly, it's a very interesting way, because even in high sec, if you know where to scan and when to scan, you can easily get a lot of ISK with the Astero. So, I think it'll be time to undock and let's run some sites, because why not? So, I usually scan in a very specific spot that I usually keep hidden. It's not really a well-known area, but when I scan I usually go there. However, I noticed that a lot of other players have cracked where I scan, and there is, let's say, quite a bit of traffic nowadays over there, and I don't mind that. If players are happy with scanning, if they can make ISK, that's all that matters to me. My job is to show you how things work, and so far I think I have been doing that well. Well then, looks like we have company, and my sixth sense has went off, so let me open the box and let me cloak, because I have a feeling that I'm about to have company here, and this is my site. I'll fight for it if I have to. I have no issues with that. I am primarily a PvP pilot, so I have no issues to use this boat to engage whatever comes in. Although could be another Astero. I wouldn't be engaging a cruiser though. A Stratios can be very scary. But an Astero, I'll take an Astero. And so far, usually when someone doesn't leave local very quickly after they enter, it's probably oh, okay, well, I called it. All right, let's see what happens. I will creep around this box over here because I have the feeling that, actually no, I opened up the previous two boxes. This is the only one left, and I believe this box is the closest to the Astero. And there they are. Let's yeet. Okay, locked. I have no points, unfortunately, no scramblers, but I'll just yeet. Element of surprise is on my side, and I'm fairly sure this Astero got scared by being engaged. Use the element of surprise to your advantage. Now, you might be wondering, why are my drones not hitting? Well, that's because my orbiting distance is messed up. Let me add 1 kilometer. Okay, that's much better. The Astero is now... well, it was in armor, but they warped out. It's fine. Okay, I have won the battle over the site, and let me continue opening the boxes. This is why I wish frigates had more low slots. I would definitely kill that Astero if I had a scrambler or point. And this is why you can actually do this with the Stratios, because you have moments like these where you get the chance to kill something, and well, it's always, I'm not going to say no to a kill, so yeah. And the Astero has left local. Okay, and I have opened the last box. I have a criminal timer, so I just have to relax for 5 minutes until the timer is out, and then I can continue on the exploration. But yeah, this used to be very rare, a very rare occurrence, but nowadays, whenever I go scan, there is always that one Astero that pops in my site, and I might actually have to go and camp the sites with the Stratios, because I have a feeling that I might be making a lot of ISK that way. And of course, you can easily camp the exploration sites because there's a good chance that you will get one explorer, and usually they have some very nice modules inside, so it's a very good way to make ISK. It's something that you can do in EVE Online, it's something that you can do in this game, and the rewards are basically the same in terms of what you can kill. But let's go to the next site. And I don't mind to have a lot of other explorers. Again, I might actually start camping the exploration sites because, as you can see, if I were in a Stratius, that Astero would be dead meat. But I was in the Astero and I had no points. But that's fine. Okay. Now the way how to explore, basically, always move. Don't approach to zero. Don't stand still. Always move. And keep your finger on the cloaking device if there was someone in local that doesn't want to leave, and if the scan is clear, then there's a good chance that they're docked, cloaked, or camping the site. And well, looks like we have more company, and I will cloak, and I'll wait. Perhaps we have another target coming in. Well, that's interesting. This is also a very quiet area. Well, it used to be a very quiet area, but so far the exploration has been nice. 256 million from the first couple minutes, not bad. I will look around and I will wait to see what comes in. Although with 4 slots you can fit a red scanner, basically scan the area to see if someone is coming or if someone is scanning you. You can easily see if the system is clear, and the Stratius does that job really well. Although the Stratius, well, it can do the job really well. It's a cruiser, it's slower and traveling takes longer. Overall, Stratius is good for exploration, and I highly recommend that ship for exploration, but in my case, the Stratius is more of a PvP ship for tackling because of the tankiness. It can have good DPS. My Stratius currently is a DPS build, although it's still tanky because it has the bonus on armor resistance, and basically it can be a very, very tanky cruiser. Well, perhaps we have another Astero lurking around in the area. We will see what will happen. So far, no scan ping and no visual on the player who joined local. Well, so far it's quiet. I guess I will do a trick. I'll leave the system and then I will come back. Alright, so I spent some time and no one came. I finished the site and moved on. The loot in the last box wasn't that impressive. Now we have a regional blood raider.
Warp drive active.
Data fortress. Now you might be wondering, what's the best area to scan? Now I had a lot of success in low and in low, although in low sec I used to find some really good sites, and I find low sec to be more enjoyable. Now in low sec I have a certain area that is 100% dead 100% of time. And that area is fantastic for scan. Now, of course, I'm not going to say what area that is, but it's close to Syndicate. It's really close to Syndicate, although you have to do like 20 or 30 jumps to get there. And that little pocket, it has no one there. It's empty, totally empty, which is to be expected because there's nothing of value there except, you know, good sites for exploration. So that area is heaven for exploration. And a similar area to that is in low sec, but that area is becoming more populated, and I'm very happy that that it's getting more populated, because I kept saying that there is a lot of nice stuff in low sec that unfortunately no one used to do. Back a couple months ago, I used to find dead space after dead space after dead space in low sec, basically in the area where I scan, and no one used to do them. So very happy that I see players moving in, and they are having the nice quiet life over here, because not many players go here, not many pirates go here. Basically it's a void from pirates. This area is void from pirates. I'm the only pirate who's basically doing exploration there. And you know, if you have a, let's say, if you have the reputation as a pirate, and if you enter a system with other players in it, and if they recognize your name, they will probably dock, so they will not disturb your scanning process. They'll be scared from you, and you can use that for your advantage. Basically, it's what's happening every time I enter some low sec systems. Everyone docks, everyone docks up. It just, you know, system gets empty in a second, and that's kind of hilarious. But you know, you can use that to your advantage, and that way you can definitely do exploration in peace without being disturbed. In the other possible scenario, they might actually fleet up and try to bait you or catch you, but they will be trying to bait a exploration ship, and if I am in an Astero, I probably will not take a bait that easily, of course. But if I fly a combat ship, you know, might happen. So far, I do find a lot of sites. Now, I remember when players were talking that the game had basically no exploration sites. I believe in one of the updates, and hopefully in the April update they do something to improve exploration, but I remember them actually improving the spawn rates for the sites, which is good. So now there should be a lot more sites out there. And one of the things that I also keep saying, exploration is very good for new players, because you can easily run exploration in high security systems. And in high security systems, I used to get loot drops up to 500 million very easily. And I've done that with my alpha clone alt that used a borrowed Astero with the Mark 7 analyzers and scanners. So doable as an alpha clone. At the time, I think I was tier 7. My alt was tier 7. Now my alt, well, it's unbanned, but I don't really log in on my alt that often, because mostly have emulator issues, so have to solve those before I can actually go back to the alt. But back when my alt was actively used, I run exploration on the alt, and I was very successful in high sec. That's one of the ways how my alt was able to fund some of the ships that I used, modules, and some of the ISK was transferred to my main account, because my main account also needed ISK for some ships. But overall, definitely a very I would say enjoyable thing that you can do as a alpha clone. Doesn't have to be stressful. Basically just set the autopilot from one system to the other system and scan every system along the way, and basically just relax. And if you are doing exploration for a while, then you probably know where to go, when to go, because there is a certain spawn timer that is, I would say, unique for every system, but it's very easy to make a map where the sites would spawn, and it's also very easy to predict based on the previous areas where you go and scan. That's the trick that I use to go and find good sites in the exact same system or around the system. And that does require a little bit of, you know, experimenting around, does require a bit of patience to find the systems to suit your time zone, because every system has, I believe, its own time, its own unique time, and you have to synchronize your exploration runs with that time. That does take a bit of effort, but once you get hang of it, this is going to become a very, very easy thing to do. And with a bit of luck, you will actually get some pretty good loot. So far, I think I have to, I think I docked my loot at one point, not really sure. Not really sure in what sequence I have added the clips in this video, so it might be a little bit up and down with the loot, but in any case, you can make a lot of you can make the modules that you get from the boxes. And one of the things that I'm starting to do is industry. Basically, I have a lot of materials, I have a lot of blueprints, and I didn't spend any ISK to obtain the materials. All the materials, all the blueprints come from PvP. Basically, we have destroyed a lot of ships. I think we all know that by now, and from exploration. So it's basically a free ISK if you do PvP, and if you combine industry with PvP, basically you can increase your ISK income very easy, because you waste no ISK on buying materials. You get that for free from PvP. You reprocess some modules, you reprocess some ore that some hauler dropped, you reprocess things that you don't need, and you use those materials that we get from reprocessing stuff into creating the blueprints, and then those blueprints can be sold on the market. And I have a lot of blueprints, so I better put them to work, and that's one of my goals. That way, if my math is correct, I would get about 350 billion in a week if everything just gets sold on the lowest possible price. That's basically the amount of blueprints and modules that I would have if I were to instantly build everything that I have in my hangars. Which is, a lot of ISK, and I could definitely use that ISK. So takes a while, takes patience to actually get the skills for that, and I'm working on it. But overall, definitely something that
warp drive active
can pay off in the end. You always have to have a alternative to the ISK generation. In my case, I mostly nowadays rely on loot and PvP, but at the same time I also look for alternative ways to get that ISK, and I see a potential with industry, with selling blueprints that I have. Well, not blueprints, but in selling the modules that I'd built, and then those modules will go to the market, of course. But since I don't do PvE, I don't run missions unless I do some live streams or unless I test some ships. I don't run PvE, I don't run missions, only PvP, exploration, and soon to be industry. And all that combined, I think it's going to be a very nice ISK income tactic. Perhaps I might be able to afford some other expensive boats, although when I say expensive boats, I'm mostly looking at the faction stuff. Perhaps some special ships that are going to be released very soon, things like that. Perhaps some nanocores, the Deathwish nanocore. Perhaps I'll upgrade some nanocores, I don't know. I'm not really sure if I should even bother with upgrading nanocores, because I don't really use I mostly use like the blue nanocores, and all the purple ones that I use are just aesthetics and the primary attribute. I never really saw the need to go and buy the top of the line most expensive nanocore, and never had the reason to go and fully upgrade them. I never really needed that. The primary attribute was always more than enough, always more than I needed. Although the Deathwish nanocore for the space pen does look interesting, and just for the overkill to have like 60 points, I will probably upgrade that one first when I have the ISK for it. because the space span can be ridiculous. A Death Wish core space span has enough points to hold like 60 points,
Warp
60
drive
stats.
active.
So you're definitely not going to be warping away from that thing if the space span has the points on you. Excellent for what we do. Excellent for a heavy tackle support ship slash DPS ship. And perhaps I will fly the Nestor for PvP. You know, surprisingly, the Nestor has the best scanner in the game. It can scan a anti-scan Dramil fairly easily without giving a ping. And with wormholes released, the Nestor will be one of the only battleships that can slip through a wormhole without collapsing it because of its low mass. And the Nestor will be a very, very useful ship for wormhole space because of its traits that the ship does come with. It's also very fast, so you will be able to tank most PvP hunters that might be in wormhole space, because you know there will be pirates in wormholes. I'm going to be one of them, and I will probably take the Stratios for the job, although I might take some other ships. Not really sure how they will implement wormholes in this game, but I guess we will find out when they are released. But overall, that's going to be one of my favorite aspects of this game, and I really can't wait for them to actually be out. Now you might be wondering, why are these boxes empty? Well, someone has been exploring this site before me, and the trick is, if you find a site with open boxes, usually the most difficult to open box is left untouched, so that's actually making your exploration easier. Usually, if a pilot with very low tier scanners tries to open the box, it will not be able to crack them open. They will take the boxes of less value, but they will leave the most difficult box to open, and then when you open, it does save you time to get the most valuable loot out of them. Also, a tactic that I learned: in some cases, the hunter will actually leave the most expensive box untouched, and they'll be waiting around that box, or they will leave the box that's easiest to orbit around, while the boxes that can uncloak the hunter will be opened. So if you encounter a site with one suspicious box just left untouched, while the other ones that have a lot of objects around them are opened, I would probably warp out from that site, because there's probably something lurking around that box, and yeah, you don't want to be around that if there is someone hunting. So that's also one of the tricks hunters don't really tell you, what they do in their tactics and how they bait an Astero to actually approach them. And I found couple boxes like that, and I just said nope, goodbye. I did not spend much time around that box, although at the time when that happened, I was in a Stratios, so I wasn't really worried about an Astero or a bomber. I killed that, but you know, just in case there is more coming, you should always be very careful. And if there is something suspicious, it probably is suspicious, especially if you are flying a boat that costs a lot. Now the insurance on this boat is about 2.5-3 billion, which you know is pretty expensive for an Astero, but at the same time, I got this ship like 2 years ago, and I never lost the Astero. Been a fantastic little boat, a very helpful little boat that so far did a fantastic job, and I'm very, very excited for the future exploration content. When I say that, I'm mostly talking about wormholes. That's going to make the game a lot more a lot more interesting and engaging. I also plan to upgrade the scanning rigs on the Astero to the tier 4 rigs. That way I can further improve its scanning capabilities. Well then, with that being said, that was the Astero, a fantastic little boat, a very helpful and very useful little boat as well. So with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed. As always, I love you all, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.